You worry that your teenager is smoking cannabis, drinking alcohol, having sex, or getting in with the wrong crowd. You're not alone. Today, I'm going to share why teenagers take dangerous and unhealthy risks and give you my top tip for managing their risky behaviours. Hi, I'm neuroscientist Dr. Ben Webb, and I'm here to help you cultivate a healthy brain for a mentally healthy and happy life. Welcome to episode 27 of Better Brain, Better You. How are you doing today? I hope you've had a great week. It's great to have you here with me on this episode. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. So we release weekly videos for brains of all ages. Before we dive in, I want to give you a final reminder about the one-time live event that we're doing this week. Dr. Zoe Webb and myself are hosting a live workshop on how to parent the teenage brain on Wednesday, the 17th of February at 11 a.m. UK time. In this workshop, we'll be sharing our 4 essential strategies for parenting teenagers. These strategies can be used to solve common teenage problems, influence teenage behaviour, and support teenagers' emotional well-being and mental health. We'll also be doing a live Q&A where you can ask us about your questions about parenting teenagers. And because we're giving away so much of our best content and strategies, we're only actually going to run this live event once. So to watch this workshop, you'll need to register for the live event. It's completely free, so please do come and join us. You can find out more about the workshop and register at ologyonlinecourses.com/parent workshop. That's ologyonlinecourses.com/parent workshop. So we'd love you to join us for this one-off live event. Okay, so let's dive into why teenagers take unnecessary and dangerous risks. The teen years are the most dangerous times in our life. We're 3 times more likely to suffer serious injury or death during this time than during childhood or adulthood. Teens make up the largest group of people with avoidable causes of death. Risky or dangerous behaviours can lead to permanent injuries or fatalities, accidents, and drug use. And the reality is, many teens act in extreme ways. And if they're not taking risks, then they are rebelling against parents, against teachers, against anyone with some authority. This kind of behaviour actually makes a lot of sense because one of the main purposes of the adolescent period is to produce an independent adult. It's when youngsters begin to separate from the comfort and safety of their parents. So experimental and novelty-seeking behaviour are important and completely healthy. It helps teenagers to start developing their autonomy, their independence. And the problem is that their underdeveloped frontal lobe, which controls their rational thinking, regulates their emotions, controls their drive for pleasure, helps them plan ahead, and it isn't yet wired up to the rest of the brain. And this is why teens have so much trouble seeing ahead, understanding the consequences of their actions, and are not equipped to rationally weigh up the relative harms of risky behaviour. So while risky behaviour has been the hallmark of adolescence for millennia, today's world perhaps poses greater challenges than at any point in human history. Increased access to risk via social media and the internet is part of every teen's life. Left to their own devices, teens frequently access stressful, inappropriate, even dangerous information on the internet. And they can be very vulnerable to the power of suggestion, and they have a lot more suggestions at their fingertips. Drugs are also more readily available now than ever before. So a text message can get them access to a range of illicit drugs within minutes. So what is it that drives teenagers to take these risks? I want to share 3 of the most important reasons with you. So the first is that the anticipation of pleasure that the risky behaviour will bring to them. That's what drives them. Gratification is at the heart of teenagers' impulsivity. Teenagers who take risks but have never experienced the consequences are much more likely to repeat their reckless behaviour to get more gratification. These reward-seeking impulses are located deep inside the teenage brain's reward system. two brain areas called the nucleus accumbens and the ventral tegmental area. They're responsible for releasing dopamine when teenagers contemplate or anticipate pleasure, eating food, obtaining money, taking drugs, whatever it is. They alert them to the possibility of pleasure and then motivate them to seek out the experience of pleasure. And because their frontal lobe is not fully connected up to their brain's reward system, it's not able to quieten down these pleasure neurons that drive their risk-taking behaviour. Is this making sense to you? What are your experiences with teenage risk-taking? Are you currently concerned about a teenager's risky behaviour? If you're watching on YouTube, let me know in the comments. I'd be really interested to hear about your thoughts and experiences about teenagers' risky behaviours. The second reason for teenagers' risky behaviour is that without the appropriate stimulation, their reward system makes them feel bored, which motivates them to seek out novelty. The baseline levels of the brain chemical dopamine, which gives them the feeling of pleasure, are actually lower in their brain compared to a child or an adult. But the release amounts are actually higher. And the major thing that releases dopamine is novelty. New stuff. It's new stuff that stimulates this dopamine release. So these dropped dopamine levels in teenagers make them bored when they repeatedly do the same old stuff again and again. And they have a huge desire to do something new, and this can escalate into risky behaviours. So they seek novelty, risky stuff, to stop their boredom and get the pleasurable feelings from high levels of dopamine. The third reason is that teenagers take dangerous risks is that their brain is not actually yet wired up to learn from its mistakes. There is a brain area called the anterior cingulate cortex that has a unique position in the brain with access both to the frontal conscious thinking brain and the emotional parts of the brain. It monitors our behaviour to detect when we make errors and sends signals to other parts of the brain to correct those mistakes. So this part of the brain is actually still being wired up in teenagers as well. So this makes it more difficult for them to recognise a mistake and learn from it, which explains why teenagers will repeat the same risks without learning from the consequences, like hurting themselves or even hurting someone else. Okay, as I promised, my top tip for managing teenagers' dangerous, risky behaviours is to encourage positive risk-taking in safer environments. Find less risky means for meeting the same need for pleasure. Teens can need to take some risks to fulfill their desire for novelty seeking and release their baseline level of boredom. Try channeling your teens' risk-taking tendencies into safer and more constructive activities. Dopamine-fueled sports like skateboarding, rock climbing, martial arts, snowboarding or mountain biking can supply plenty of thrills. Some teens might find they love the rush of performing in drama or creative arts. Extreme sports are a really good replacement for unhealthy risk-taking because they produce the same dopamine rush from the anticipation of pleasure that the risky behaviour will bring, and they also provide a pleasurable feeling from the actual activity itself. So this helps teenagers to overcome their boredom that they feel, which is what motivates them to seek out unhealthy and risky behaviours in the first place. So those are the reasons why teenagers seek novelty out and take risks, and the most effective strategies for managing these risky behaviours. So if you'd like more help with understanding teenage behaviour and proven access to strategies for managing and influencing their behaviour, then please do join us at our upcoming live workshop on parenting the teenage brain. We'll be sharing our 4 essential strategies for parenting teenagers. You can register for the live event on Wednesday the 17th at 11 a.m. at ologyonlinecourses.com/parent workshop. That's ologyonlinecourses.com/parent workshop. We look forward to seeing you there. So please do like, share this video and subscribe to our channel if you want to receive more videos like this one. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Take good care of yourself, and I will see you next time.